I'm here with Louise Francis of Mapping for Change, and I have to say that I'm really interested in mapping, but don't let me go on about it first. You tell me about Mapping for Change, and maybe we'll get on to why it's important for big society.
Well, Mapping for Change is a social enterprise that uses maps as a means to enable communities to communicate to one another, to talk to one another. And it's not just to shout about who they are and what they do. It's also to shout about what we want to change. So using mapping as a means to enable people to see the transformations that they want in their particular communities. And this might be online mapping or offline mapping, paper-based activities. And we work with third sector organisations and community groups to basically collect their own information and say, look, quite often you find grassroots organisations, third sector organisations and community groups don't have the funds and the resources to be able to shout about what they're doing. And the whole concept of the big issue is not a new one. People have been doing what they do at the grassroots level for years, and with or without funding. And what we found is that by developing maps, which quite often are community generated, enable those in the wider community to find out what's happening where, who's doing what, and how to learn from some of the projects and best practice and ideas that are actually already taking place. So why reinvent the wheel? Let's learn from the things that are already taking place and then see what it is that we need to support in able to actually scale up some of these ideas.
And does that help you do more with more? I mean, a phrase I heard from David Halpern, in which he was saying, don't just think about more with less, think about all the assets you've got in your community, your organisation. But I guess if you want to find that, mapping is the way to discover it.
Well, that's it. And the principle is that it's not only enabling people who live within the square mile to know what's happening and find out what's going on, it's also looking at the community in terms of the geographical community, but we've got community, faith-based communities, we've got interest communities, and this kind of intricate network and web that exists. When you look at a map, it's one of the easy ways to actually provide this visualization of these kind of social networks that exist, and also to show people what's happening on the ground, and who's operating and who's linked to who, and how best we can get involved and make that difference that's needed.
So Big Society Network has this idea for your square mile. How do you help people connect with other people within their neighbourhood? Sounds like mapping could be quite important to that.
I mean, the minute I heard Big Society and the fact that, we want people to actually get involved, we want grassroots organisations to start doing, to carry on doing some of the things they've already been doing, mapping immediately sprung to me as the best way to actually visualise who's doing what, where, how and when, and whether this be within your square mile, within your ward, within the borough and beyond.
Yeah, so you can decide what's the centre of the map is you and kind of draw the map around you.
Exactly, and it is about kind of mapping your world, and your world may exist within a kind of small geographical area, but again, it can be quite diverse and quite expansive, and I think it is about trying to get everybody together so that we are moving in the right direction.
Fantastic. And there used to be a saying that you always ended up fighting battles or doing stuff on the edge of the map, but of course there aren't any edges to maps online, are there?
Exactly. And when you're talking about the online map, it's not just about where you are, it's also about where you want to go to.
So you use maps as maps of journeys from here to there as well?
Well, when I say where you want to go to, it's actually about looking at things, whether it be the social issues, whether it be environmentally, where we are currently as a community, but also where do we want to see our community in 2010, 2011, and using mapping as a way to kind of document that journey for us to actually get to our ultimate goals and aims and objectives.
So can people see any of this yet? Or
we do currently have something in the region of 7 or 8 community maps online already, and you can access our website www.mappingforchange.org.uk, and we've also got a variety of other kind of thematic maps looking at across London faith-based environmental projects, and again it's the same principle, lots of people doing lots of great stuff, but the fact is the beehive and the photovoltaics on the church roof in the Roman Catholic Church are not aware of what's happening in the synagogue around the corner. And it's about people talking to one another so that we can share these resources and learn from one another. So that's one of the maps that we have online. And also looking at things like third sector and climate change, the grassroots organisations that are actually doing stuff, not talking about doing it, are already doing stuff, and actually kind of promoting some of the activities that they're doing. And we've got 2 pilots, one in Newcastle and one down in Dorset. So take a look.